The crystalline spires of the Galactic Military Academy pierced the purple sky of Zethanine, a monument to 1,000 species achievements. Maria Chen stood at the entrance, her regulation boots clicking against the iridescent floor. She was the first human to ever walk these halls. "You are the primitive one," whispered Zixtha, a mantis-like Krell whose ancestors had mastered interstellar travel while humanity still huddled in caves. His compound eyes gleamed with disdain. "Your species discovered fusion merely 2 centuries ago. You do not belong here." Maria smiled politely, though her hands clenched inside her pockets. She'd heard variations of this speech a dozen times since arriving. The Galactic Council had accepted Earth's application for Academy admission as a formality, expecting humans to fail, to prove their inadequacy before the cosmos. The orientation chamber hummed with bioluminescent displays. Commander Vrel, a towering Arcaturian with silver skin and 3 arms, addressed the assembled cadet. "Welcome to Survival Week. Only those who pass the Chamber of Primal Elements will continue their training. Each species faces their ancestral fears, their evolutionary nightmares coded into your very DNA." Maria watched as cadets from across the galaxy stepped forward, one by one. The aquatic Delphinians faced simulated dehydration chambers. The subterranean Morlocks endured artificial sunlight that seared their photosensitive skin. Each emerged trembling, some unconscious, all marked by terror. Human Vrel's voice boomed. "You are next." Caspar Rodriguez, the only other human at the academy, gripped her shoulder. "Don't let them see you break, Maria. We represent everyone back home." She nodded and walked toward the storm chamber. The other cadets whispered among themselves. What could possibly frighten a human? Creatures from a death world, they'd heard. A planet where everything tried to kill you, where the very atmosphere corroded metal and spawned hurricanes that could flatten cities. The chamber door sealed behind her with a hiss. Darkness enveloped Maria. Then came the lightning, terrible, splitting the artificial sky above. Thunder crashed, the sound vibrating through her bones. Rain fell in sheets, driven sideways by winds that screamed like dying gods. The temperature plummeted, then soared. The ground beneath her feet transformed from ice to scorching sand to sucking mud. This was humanity's test. The storm, the typhoon, the tornado, every civilization-ending tempest that had taught her ancestors to fear the sky itself. But Maria didn't scream. She didn't cower. Instead, something unexpected happened. She began to laugh. The sensation started as a chuckle deep in her chest, then erupted into full-throated laughter that rivaled the thunder. She spread her arms wide, tilting her face toward the manufactured chaos, feeling the sting of rain and hail against her skin because Maria remembered. She remembered her grandmother's stories of Hurricane Katrina, of how humans had rebuilt New Orleans stronger than before. She remembered documentary footage of storm chasers who drove toward tornadoes, scientists who flew into hurricanes to study them, to understand them, to rob them of their mystery. She remembered that humanity didn't just survive storms, they named them, tracked them, predicted them. They built cities that could withstand them and technologies that could tame them. The storm intensified, as if angered by her defiance. Wind speeds that would tear apart most species' homeworlds buffeted her body. Maria planted her feet, leaning into the gale, feeling the primal joy her ancestors must have felt when they first looked at the lightning and thought, "I can harness that on Earth." Storms had been teachers. They'd taught humanity to cooperate, to build shelters, to create communities. Every hurricane season forced people together. Every blizzard reminded them that alone they were vulnerable, but together they were unstoppable. Outside the chamber, the monitoring stations erupted in confusion. "Her stress hormones are elevated," reported a Voltharian medical officer, tentacles dancing across holographic displays, "but her fear response is absent. This makes no sense." Commander Vrel leaned forward, all 3 eyes focusing on Maria's biometric readings. "She's experiencing adrenaline surge, elevated heart rate, heightened awareness but no terror. What is she experiencing?" Caspar, watching from the observation deck, smiled grimly. "Exhilaration." Inside the chamber, Maria stood at the eye of the storm. The winds had created a vortex around her, a swirling wall of devastation. She thought of the first sailors who had braved the open ocean despite the storms, the first aviators who flew through clouds pregnant with lightning, the first astronauts who rode controlled explosions into space. Humans didn't conquer their fears by avoiding them. They ran toward them with tools and determination and stubborn, foolish hope. The simulation reached its crescendo, a perfect recreation of an EF5 tornado. Winds exceeding 300 miles per hour. The The kind of storm that could strip asphalt from highways and drive straw through telephone poles. Maria closed her eyes and breathed deeply. She could feel her pulse synchronized with the thunder, her breath matching the rhythm of the rain. This was her heritage, a species forged in the crucible of a world that never stopped trying to kill them, and never quite succeeded. When the chamber finally powered down, silence fell like a curtain. Maria stood soaked and windswept in the center of the room, completely unharmed. Her smile never wavered. The door opened. Varel stood there, 3 arms crossed, expression unreadable. Human Cadet Maria Chen, you... smiled. Inside the storm chamber, yes, Commander. Maria considered the question carefully. Around her, dozens of alien species waited for her answer, species who had evolved on stable worlds, with predictable weather and gentle seasons. How could she explain what it meant to be human? Because, Commander, she finally said, on Earth, we have a saying, into the storm. It means we don't wait for fair weather. We don't hide from challenges. We face them head on, and we emerge stronger. She paused, her smile widening. You wanted to test my fear, but you chose the wrong nightmare. Storms don't scare us. They remind us what we're capable of surviving. Casper pushed through the crowd, grinning wildly. So did she pass? Vrel's silver face remained impassive for a long moment. Then, slowly, something approximating respect flickered in his ancient eyes. Pass, human cadets... You have redefined the parameters of the test. The storm chamber will require recalibration. As Maria and Casper walked from the chamber together, whispers followed them through the academy halls. The primitive species, the Deathworlders, the ones who smiled in the storm. And Maria realized that humanity had just taught the galaxy its first lesson. The most dangerous creatures aren't those who know no fear. They're the ones who have befriended it.